Hello, I'm Ryan with High Desert Math Tutor, and today I want to talk to you about factoring numbers. Now, to begin, when we talk about factoring numbers, we have to be clear that if we say the word factor, that can actually have two different meanings. So, to begin, if you say factor, one meaning to this is factoring as a noun, and you can also mean factoring as a verb. Now, just a quick review though, what is a noun? A noun is a person, a place, or a thing. In this case, when we say factor, if we mean factor as a noun, that means we're talking about objects, like numbers as an object. But a verb, on the other hand, what is a verb? A verb is an action. So if I tell you I want you to factor something and I mean it as a verb, I'm telling you to do something. I'm telling you to do some action. Now, if we just focus in for a moment, let's start with a verb. I could tell you to factor 12. And what that means is take 12 and rewrite 12 as multiplication. So multiplying numbers to get 12. So for example, 12 is the same as 1 times 12, but 12 is also the same as 2 times 6 and 3 times 4. So if I told you to factor 12, all of these are potential answers. Not only that, but you could give me what's called the prime factorization. And the prime factorization of 12 would be to first turn 12 into smaller numbers such as these. Then say we take 4 and we break 4 down a little bit further into 2 times 2. Then instead of having 4 times 3, you could say 2 times 2 times 3. So we've rewritten 12 using multiplication, but all of the numbers that we are multiplying are prime numbers, which we have other videos on prime numbers. So if you need a refresher on what those are and why they matter to us, I highly recommend you take a look at that video. So if we say factor 12 and we mean this as a verb, that means I'm telling you to take 12 and rewrite 12 as multiplication, even prime factorization. But now what do we mean as a noun? Well, notice 1 times 12 gives you 12. 2 times 6 gives you 12. 3 times 4 gives you 12. We can kind of bridge these concepts by saying these are the numbers that you multiply to get 12. So we can say the factors, let me do this in a different color, I'm sorry. We can say the factors of 12 are 1 from here, 2 from here, 3, 4, 6, and 12. So the factors of 12 are 12. And what we mean by that is the numbers that we multiply to get 12, we can multiply 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12 to get 12. So when you say factor as a noun, you mean you're thinking about numbers that you multiply to get some other number. So as a noun, a factor is anything that is being multiplied. So just recall, a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. And when we say factor as a noun, we're talking about the things that we multiply to get a certain number. So that's essentially it. When we talk about factoring, you just have to be clear. When we're talking about factoring, is the objective to rewrite a number as multiplication? Or are we interested in the factors, the numbers that we multiply to get a certain number? So I hope this was a helpful introduction to factoring numbers. And I hope it's very clear that there are the two sides to the meaning of factor as a noun and as a verb. And just recall, because this is one of the most useful skills you will ever study in math, especially if you plan to go on to trigonometry, to calculus. If you want to go into science or engineering, it's very, very helpful if you have a strong understanding of the meaning of factoring and you know how to factor. But I just want to very strongly emphasize, a factor is anything that is being multiplied. You can multiply numbers at a higher level. You can multiply letters and variables. You can even multiply by entire expressions or equations, which you'll see that and talk about those when you get to algebra. But anything that's being multiplied is a factor.